the Elevation Edit, where we celebrate the journey, honor the grind, and learn from those who rise. Let's get into it. Hello, Olivia.
Hey.
Who is Olivia Scott?
Hello, my name is Olivia Scott. I was born and raised in Mobile, Alabama, and I'm a licensed cosmetologist and a mother of a 2-year-old.
All right, now, what is the name of your business?
Olivia B. Beauty Bar.
All right, now, Olivia B. Beauty Bar. So, did you know you always wanted to be a hairstylist?
Yes, so God gave me the vision when I was a little kid in the 4th grade on the playground. He showed me doing hair, and owning a salon. So yes.
Okay. How did you start your journey into becoming a hairstylist?
So it all started when I was in about like high school. I wanted to feel prettier, so I started to wear makeup in high school, and people started to notice. I was wearing makeup because I was very depressed. I was having panic attacks a lot, so I was like, maybe I can put on some makeup to feel a little prettier. And I started to wear it, and people started to notice, and that's when it all changed. And I went to cosmetology school. My teacher suggested that I do a makeup competition, and I did the makeup competition, and I won first place. And that's when I realized I'm going to go to school for aesthetics.
I love that. So, I want to go back to the part that you said you felt just really depressed and just lost and
Hmm.
just didn't have the self confidence that, a lot of women go through. A lot of young girls go through that insecurity of just the awkwardness of knowing who we are and how we look and just feeling comfortable with ourselves. So, makeup was really like a safe haven for you.
Yes, definitely. When I put
Okay.
the makeup on, everything went away.
I love it. So putting the makeup on, it all went away.
Hmm.
That's really neat. So when did you decide to further your education and get your cosmetology license? Because you say you started cosmetology school because of the love of makeup, because of
Hmm.
how it made you feel. So when did you decide to further your education to get you your cosmetology license?
So after winning the competition, I went to school for aesthetics immediately after high school. And when I finished aesthetics after high school, I was like, maybe I think I want to go to school for cosmetology. And I was like, I don't know. At the same time, because I just finished, I had like 1,000 hours, and for cosmetology you need 1,500. So I was like, I can just switch the hours over, maybe try that out. So I told my instructor at the time, and my instructor was like, you can't do hair," and I'm like, "Oh, well, maybe I can't do hair." So that kind of went in the back of my head a little bit. After the Christmas break, I went and I was like, I'm gonna go forth with cosmetology school, and that's when I went. And shortly after that, I ended up dropping out.
Okay, so wait, you clearly we know you have your license.
Hmm.
So you're saying that you went to aesthetic school, you did well, you had 1,000 hours. Out of the 1,000 hours, you were pretty much a senior. Is that how it's classified in cosmetology school?
Yeah. Well, no, I was basically like a junior
You were a
with
junior,
cosmetology.
okay, and you had already paid your tuition,
Hmm.
and then you stopped.
Yeah. So at the time, I was drinking, partying, just doing what 18-year-olds do, and I was being late to school a lot. I was late and didn't show up sometimes. And I was like, you know what? Forget this. Like, I don't want to live this dream no more. I'm just gonna quit.
Okay, so after you quit, you were drinking, you were spiraling out, and earlier on, you had already had the other issues that you were dealing with just the self worthiness.
Hmm.
So you had that, you started drinking at 18. Most typical 18-year-olds really have to find themselves. So, with that being said, you drop out. Okay, you have your license. How did we obtain that? What happened?
So after I dropped out, shortly after that, I found out that I was pregnant, and I was like, oh, great. So when at my gender reveal, I said like a silent prayer to God. I was like, if it's a girl, then I'll go back to school for cosmetology because I'm like, it's a girl. I'm gonna have to do hair. So when my daughter turned like 8 months, I finally decided to go back to cosmetology school, and that's when I completed it. I went to a different school.
Okay, so that's an amazing story. So wait, you had a lot to happen in that span. You literally quit school, started drinking, got pregnant, and still had the willpower to go back. Your daughter, of course, was your driving force to go
Mhm.
back. So you went back to another school.
Mhm.
Okay. So going back to school, getting your cosmetology license, how did that feel? How did that, what, what was the driving force to that outside of your child? What made you want to go back to cosmetology school?
Oh, so when I found out I was pregnant, I was still sad. So while I was pregnant, I cried a lot. That's when I became closer to God because I'm like, I can't lean on the drinking. I can't party no more. I lost just about every friend I had. So only person I can lean on was Jesus Christ. So that's when I
Yeah.
got closer to him, and that's when he guided my path and told me where to go.
Okay. So God guided your path. So you use your faith.
Hmm.
Well, basically, I should be asking this: how did your faith get you through that? I know that usually, of course, when you're pregnant, you can't drink, you can't smoke, but that's easier said than done for a lot of people, you know. And this generation goes through a lot of things. So, how did you build a strong enough faith to just persevere and say, you know what, I'm going to push forward, I'm going to go to school, and you didn't graduate from the school that you originally went to? You went to another school.
Hmm.
So you started over. You started everything over. And you give credit to your faith.
Yes. So the day I be, so the day I became pregnant, it was like the worst day of my life. Like
I know that feeling.
it was like the worst day. So God told me not to go out with my friends, and I still went. And I ended up getting like completely blacked out drunk, and I ended up walking a local school campus for like 4 hours. But I was blacking in and out, and I ended up going down like a main road, and I was walking with my thumb up because I'm like, somebody get me. Like my friends basically left me at the school, and I was walking with my thumb up, and I'm like, can somebody get me, please? Like, please. And it was just random car. It was a rusty car, and the man picked me up, and I'm like, this is weird, but please tell me where I'm going. Like, I asked him to take me to my car, and after that, on the ride home, Holy Spirit told me if I wouldn't stop drinking, I would die from it. So I said, you know what? Never drink it again.
So
So
that's,
that's when I completely was like, okay, I'm done.
okay. So that is when you went through your faith journey. And that's when God really showed you. He had showed you a couple of times,
Mhm.
but this was the last impactful time that he showed you, hey, this is how you need to change and what you need to do. Because you changed schools, did you feel like you had a safe space within your first school and your second school?
The first school was a little. It was. I feel like I didn't have that much of a safe space, but at the time, I didn't know I needed a safe space because I was wilding, drinking. I didn't really know what was going on with myself. So I would like play around with my feelings. Like I didn't really know how to express them.
So when you were in school, of course, with you drinking and coming in late, that wouldn't be the ideal student for myself either. But that was your, are you saying that was a cry for help? Were you screaming out saying, hey, I need help? And you made a joke of yourself, is what you're saying. You would joke trying to talk and communicate, or I don't want to say what was happening for you, but I want the audience to know more about how you were feeling because there are a lot of cosmetology students, there are a lot of influencers, there are a lot of business students, there are a lot of photographers. There are just a lot of people out here that go through the same challenges, and everybody communicates differently. Everybody goes through challenges differently. What could have happened differently that you feel you could have done to make your school a safe space?
Um, I probably could have been more serious about what was going on.
Okay. So, what would you say to inspire a student, a young woman, a young man that wants to pursue their cosmetology license that's broken, insecure, or feel less than? What would you tell them today to encourage them?
I would say find out your purpose. Seek God and find out what your purpose, and He'll guide you. directly where you need to go.
Wow,
Yeah.
Olivia, that's an amazing story, and you should be proud of yourself. There are a lot of single moms out here. I knew what that feeling was back when I was younger,
Mhm.
and to go through what you went through, you should be very proud of yourself. Once again, tell us the name of your business.
Olivia B Beauty Bar.
So now you are a licensed cosmetologist that
Mhm.
finished school, taking care of your baby with your own business and brand.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
should really be proud of yourself.
Thank you.
We're going to dig a little deeper, and to help us unpack this in a meaningful way, we are honored to welcome our special guest and co-host, licensed cosmetologist Adrienne Williams. Adrienne, with 17 years between you and Olivia, we would love to hear from you in your journey to becoming a stylist. Who is Adrienne Williams?
I am Adrienne Williams. I am a cosmetologist right here in the native of Mobile, Alabama. I am a licensed cosmetology. I am a mother of five. Also, I am been in the industry for 15 years.
Okay. What is the name of your business?
The name of my business is MS Salon Suites.
Okay. MS Salon Suites. How did you start your hair journey?
I started my hair journey as a young child. I am one of 8 children that my mother has, and my mom worked 2 jobs. So basically, going back and forth of knowing she didn't really know how to do hair. So my passion started. My sister was a licensed cosmetologist at first, and she passed the torch. And now I got into the industry, and I always loved it, doing hair. So that I wanted to make that a career for me.
Okay, but did you always know that you wanted to be a hairstylist?
Yes, I always knew. I knew I wanted to be a hairstylist probably around middle school. I would do people hair in the neighborhood. I would Little kids will get their borettes and tell them to come and get their hair done. So I decided to make it a career right out of high school. I went to graduated high school, and I decided that I wanted to, go and pursue my cosmetology license.
Okay. When did you decide to further your education to get your cosmetology license?
I started hair school right out of high school. I went to hair school and went to get my license. And I say probably about 10 months of me finishing school, I met at the time, the love of my life. I started the journey of, getting married. It grew into marriage. So I wound up getting married. And then after that, I was almost finishing hair school. Once I finished hair school, I took my boards and I failed my boards the first time. So got ready to do it again, take my boards the second time. By this time, I've already had started a family. Not only that, got married. And when I got ready to take my boards the second time, I was past the time, my time had expired. So I was told that I had to go to school all over again. So I kind of got discouraged. I put it on the back burner, and I just started a family and basically started my life after that. Probably a couple of years later, I decided that I wanted to go back to school because at this time, my ex-husband, he's now my ex-husband, but we started full-time ministry. So I have children. I was a stay-at-home mom. And so I got to a place where I lost myself. So I was helping serve in every other capacity as a mother, as a wife, as ministry. So now I get to the point where I'm trying to find out what's my identity, who am I? So I went back to school and went to get my cosmetology license again. I built up the courage to do that. And then I'll say close to about me finishing again for the second time, I go through the separation with my marriage. And so when I went through that separation, I went to a place of now I'm trying to figure life out. Because from being a stay-at-home mom to now I'm going to figure it out from no help, no support. And so I decided that I get ready to finish school, and now I gotta figure it out for my 5 children. And so I started a journey. I went and start working in the salon because by this time I'm building clientele while I'm in school. I'm traveling. I'm basically going through a phase of hustling. I'm hustling, trying to feed my family. And so once I did that, I decided to work in a salon. The lady promised to give me She promised to let me take over her salon because she was back and forth in and out of town. And so that fell through. So I wound up opening a salon without a license. Even though I finished cosmetology school, I was just afraid to take the test again.
Okay. Adrian, that's an amazing story. So you said 5 children?
Yes, 5.
That's a lot. I would go to work, Adrian. You had to do that. I understand. So you were a stay-at-home mom,
Yes.
never having to deal with anything but the husband and the children.
Yes.
You went and took your test the first time. You failed it. You said, forget it. You've already started your family, husband taking care of you, living the life.
Yes.
After that, life really happens. Your marriage dissolves.
Yes.
5 kids later, single mom, no license. Did I say 5 kids later?
Yes.
5 kids later, no license, and you got to do what you have to do.
Absolutely.
So a lot of us are in that place. A lot of us have been in that place. That's a real thing.
Yes.
It almost speaks to what Olivia said. She was broken. She did not know what to do. At that time, she did not have her daughter. But then when she had her daughter, she had to figure it out. Even after that, you were knocked down. You were promised a building. You did not get the building. So you opened illegally.
Yes.
But we had to do. Understand? You had to do what you had to do. But being in that position, oftentimes we are not seen. And people don't understand. You did not want to be a statistic.
Yes.
You got to make sure that your kids are eating because they were used to a lifestyle with their dad, 2-parent household. So you still had the nerve after all of that. What gave you the mind, the energy, and the get up and go outside of your children? Because like you said, you had already lost yourself. And as women and the young generation today, it's so easy to lose yourself with social media being what it is today and the peer pressure. The peer pressure that you had 17 years ago is not the peer pressure that Olivia has today. So what gave you the energy or the drive to go after losing? And I'm sure you all were in a home.
Yes.
So you lost your home, your husband, 5 children later. No, you didn't have the business. You did open your own business, but you still didn't have your license. What made you go back to actually get the cosmetology license after all of that? You're in the building now illegally, but you're in there, but you're in the building, you got workers. What pushed you to get your license?
Well, what pushed me to get my license is now I have to think for not just myself, but I have to think for my children as well. And so I went back. I opened the salon without a license, but I just needed to take the test. And so what drove me to do that, I had a family to feed. So once someone found out that I didn't have my license, they called state board on me.
I know you lying.
And so, but it was a blessing in disguise because what it did was it just thrust me to go take the test because of fear of me failing before. I felt like I was going to fail again, but I feel like I had a greater responsibility, so I couldn't fail. So I went and took the test. And as soon as I got ready to take the test, I passed the boards, and immediately within that same week, God bless, where I can have a regular cosmetology license and run a business at the same time. Because back then you couldn't do both. You had to have a 3-year span. So I was able to get all of that and operate out of a salon all at the same time.
That's amazing. I would like to say, just in itself, both of you should be very proud of yourself. Because a lot of times we all run into obstacles. We all run into things that we have no control over. You know, you had no control over knowing your marriage wasn't going to work. We get married thinking it is going to be forever. So for you to do that, Adrian, that you have a lot to be proud of. And now you have your own business. And I don't think you said anything about it, but when we were talking pre-interview, now you're about to be an instructor.
Yes.
So that's amazing. You're able to teach and to own your MS Suites. And before MS Suites, did you have anything before that?
Yes, I had a salon. Like I said, I had to start a salon. So I had the traditional salon for about 12 years.
Wow.
And then now just within these 3 years. So I've been doing salons.
That is amazing. You guys should be so proud of yourself. This question is for Adrian and Olivia. How do you think schools can better bridge the gap between the students and their experiences to ensure they feel seen, safe, and truly supported? And before you answer that, I ask that because a lot of students now want to go into what they feel is popular. A lot of the young people now want to go into what they feel is going to bring them money, what looks good. And Olivia spoke on a lot of things that I think several people may be going through. You know, she didn't know how to effectively communicate. She made a joke of things that she was saying. She was coming in late. She was drinking. But Olivia, how do you think, once again, schools could better bridge that gap with students like yourself? You're not the only one that's coming in late, that's drinking, that is experiencing difficulties, but don't know how to communicate them. How do you think that gap can be bridged?
So at the school I ended up graduating from, they will always do like surveys on the students, and they will also check in with the students. So if there was a problem, they would fix it immediately.
So, okay, those surveys, it seems like that's something so minor and
Mhm.
so, minuscule, very little. But that something that small made
Mhm.
a difference to you. Why?
Because they actually cared about what the students had to offer. Because
could
at the end of
feel
the day, we're the ones paying.
okay.
So it's like we're the ones that can keep y'all
You
running.
can keep them
Yeah.
open. So you felt like by doing that, you had a safe space to really
Mhm.
communicate if you were happy or if you weren't happy.
Mhm.
Okay. Adrian, with your experience, it's over 17 years experience. You've managed, you've run, and now you have the suites. How do you think schools could better bridge the gap between the students and their experiences to ensure a safe and truly supported environment?
I think it'll be a great thing to do, to communicate with your students. And then not only that, you got to go from your head to your heart. And so mentorship is a good thing because, life is going to life, regardless to what we structure it to be. Life is going to take a turn. So you got to have a heart for it. You got to have a passion for it. And I believe that if you have a passion for it, you'll know how to reach each individual.
Okay. Adrian, for the ones that don't have a passion, for the ones that truly think that they want to do hair, you started out wanting to do nursing. You said CNA work. You started out wanting to do makeup, and not saying that you don't do it now because it's the Olivia Beauty Bar, but your love is hair. What do you say to those young people? Because we change. I started out one thing, but I ended up still loving the beauty industry. What do you say to those young people that really don't know, but you can see the drive in them, the potential in them? What would you say to them?
I would say follow your heart and pursue your passion. If it's a passion of yours, you shouldn't let nothing and no one get in the way of that. But I think it should be a passion for you to pursue it, and then don't give up on your dream. Like continue to reach that young person. I think my experience is what made me more, not just about hair. It's more passionate. I'm passionate enough because I know what I had to go through, what I had to experience. So my passion is to reach back and help someone else.
Okay, Olivia, there are a lot of young people today that are experiencing a lot of different things, whether it's their peers that they're hanging with, whether it's social media, whether it's the school, whether it's whatever's happening, their home life. What would you tell that young person right now that was spiraling out of control, like yourself, that has kind of gained some type of balance, that loved to party, that was drinking, that, not all the time a baby gets involved, but we know the things before the baby happens. What would you tell them to encourage them just so they could kind of stay balanced or know that, hey, I am a real person. This happened to me. And this isn't one of those storybook tales. You can really get over it if you.
So I would say, write your vision down, make it plain. Whenever your life gets horrible, look in that journal. Open that journal and look back at what you wrote. And never forget like why you're doing it. And keep going no matter what. Nobody should be able to stop you.
That's
You
really,
got this.
I love it. I love it. That's really true because I do believe in writing things down. I'm big into that. So, Olivia, by sharing your experience, what impact do you want and you hope that this podcast have on future business owners like yourself? Not just saying that they're in the hair industry, just future business owners. What do you hope this podcast, this episode do for that generation or that person that one? It doesn't matter who it is. How do you feel it? And the same question will be asked to you, Adrian. How do you want this podcast to help?
I would really want you to step into your purpose, step into your calling, and walk it boldly and be resilient.
I love it. Adrian, how do you want this podcast to impact in this particular episode for future business owners and entrepreneurs? How do you want this podcast to be viewed? What do you want them to get from this?
I would want them to get that no matter what you're going through, no matter whatever the age gaps, we experience life in different ways. But the podcast should be where people can know that no matter what you're going through, never give up. Believe in what your dreams are. And even if obstacles get in the way, that you can overcome it, and you can get up and you can achieve what you desire to achieve.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is our last question, and is how would you say you've evolved from the beginning of your journey to now?
I would honestly say I'm very resilient. I didn't give up no matter what. Even though I became a single mom, I became closer to God. And yeah, I'm a licensed cosmetologist.
You have a lot of accolades, though, and I think a lot of times we don't want to acknowledge our own achievements, and it's very important. It's not being braggadocious. It's not minimizing, but you have a lot to say. You have a lot to say. You went from this insecure 18-year-old girl feeling awkward, not comfortable with yourself, not knowing your capabilities, to applying makeup. You did it. You won the pageant. Miss Calhoun played a huge part in that. Just having someone to believe in you, to not only license cosmetology, that's a big deal. Mm-hmm. Then owning your own business, owning your own hair brand, taking care of your daughter as a single mom. Don't minimize who you are and what you do, because it's a lot of Olivias out there. It's just not a lot of them that have a platform to say what you're saying today. With that being said, Adrian, same question. How would you say you've evolved from the beginning of your journey before your 5 children to now?
I would say that I have I've moved from traditional salon to now having salon suites. All 5 of my children have graduated. I have been a single parent, still raising them. I have 2 successful daughters. One is she's an esthetician now, and my other daughter, she's a braider. So I have truly been blessed to own my own home now. I'm running my business, and I'm grateful for the shift, even though it didn't happen the way that I wanted it to happen, but it made me the woman that I am today.
And can we please not leave off? Can we please not leave off? You are soon to be a what?
Instructor.
Glory.
Went back to school
This is
to
good
get my
stuff.
instructor's license.
Yes.
Because I want to help other women.
Absolutely. As Black women, once again, I know this sounds really redundant, but I definitely have to have this on this podcast. We cannot minimize our light. We cannot minimize what we're doing, who we are, and the impacts that we made in our own lives. Before we make an impact in someone else's life, we have to see what we've done in ourselves. And oftentimes we get so overburdened with just things, with just things that we forget about. Damn, I really did accomplish this. I really did do that. I really did get up. I'm the shit. That's important, though. We have to know that. With that being said,
with that,
I mean, I'm just being real on this, and I want
Yes.
that part in there. As black women, I'm sorry. This is the platform that is going to be said. I am not going to be totally nasty about things, but we are the shit. It has to be said. You are to be proud of yourselves, because it's a lot of people that are walking around that has not went through what you've went through and can say that they're licensed. So with that being alone, that's an accomplishment. That's a goal that you should be proud of. And that is why you're here on the Elevation Edit, because you have truly elevated. You showed how you have edited everything in your life and have still rose to the occasion. Thank you for our first episode of Elevation Edit. Okay, what do you say?